Let's start with the introduction of our protagonist, Saturo Mikami, who is your average 37-year-old guy who works a corporate job and never had a girlfriend his entire life. Despite this, he's leading a decent life since he's got the liberty to worship his favorite waifu. Episode 1. One day, as Saturo Mikami is heading back home alongside his comrades, on their way, Mikami gets stabbed to death while saving his colleague, and his dying words are to get rid of his PC, just like any man of culture would do. I wonder what he's hiding in it. Just when he thinks his life has ended, Mikami gets reincarnated into another world, but not as a human, as a freaking slime. Initially, he gets a bit shocked, but he soon discovers some crazy facts about himself, including the ability to analyze and absorb stuff he touches. He roams around the dungeon for days until he comes across the legendary storm dragon, Veldora Tempest. Both quickly get along as if they've been friends for ages. He also discovers that there are some other people as well who have reincarnated from Earth. Veldora further tells him everything related to his dark past. Episode 2. Veldora also names this mirror slime as Rimuru Tempest, and Rimuru also utilizes his ability to absorb Veldora into himself and figure out a way to help him escape the prison, which makes him insanely happy. After consuming Veldora, Rimuru keeps on exploring the dungeon and consuming other monsters as well as he finally comes across the dungeon entrance. As he's figuring out a way to open it, some dumb humans open the door for him, unleashing Rimuru to the outside world. Upon reaching outside, Rimuru comes across a horde of goblins who literally beg him to help them. Ever since Veldora disappeared, the monsters have been going rogue, and in relation to this, the direwolves have ambushed the goblins as well. Since the goblins have nothing to offer, they pledge their loyalty to Rimuru, who vows to protect them from the imminent threat. Episode 3. The following day, Rimuru gathers all the goblins who can battle and gets disappointed. However, being their leader, he has no other option but to battle it out with the direwolves. Later that night, the overconfident direwolves ambush the goblin village, hoping to obliterate it. However, much to their surprise, they come across a mere slime acting all high and mighty. They totally underestimate him and ambush the village nevertheless. The battle turns out devastating for them as Rimuru immediately kills off their weak-ass boss. After this, Rimuru forces all of them to live alongside the goblins and even grants them names. It was an emotional moment for all of them since they had no names, owed to their parents having no name sense. Rimuru then passes out since he had utilized too much mana. As he wakes up, he notices that all the women have developed massive melons. He teaches them everything related to civilization, and after realizing that the goblins are just as useless as they look, he sets off alongside a small group to the town of Dwargan to seek their help in regards to architecture. Episode 4. With the help of Ranga and the other direwolves, Rimuru and the goblins reach the kingdom of Dwargan, where Rimuru and Gobta come across some random thugs. Rimuru ends up beating the shit out of them and gets put in jail for that. With no other option left, Rimuru attempts to bribe the prison guard with some healing potions after hearing that his brother is in danger. Expressing his gratitude, the prison guard introduces him to a skilled blacksmith named Kaijin the Blacksmith. Upon reaching his shop, they also come across the guys Rimuru had saved previously. To get his artisan services, Rimuru utilizes the magisteel ore he had gathered in the cave and his sage skill to help Kaijin fulfill an order of a longsword. In exchange for this, Kaijin agrees to help them. Rimuru also gets to enjoy some alone time with elves, even though he's just a slime. Being surrounded by all those melons made Rimuru feel as if he was in heaven. Episode 5. After all this, an elf who could predict the future decides to tell Rimiru's destined one as they visualize a mysterious girl parting ways with her family. Following this, the guy Vesta, who would order the longswords from Kaijin, appears at the spot and picks beef with Rimuru, owing to his hatred for monsters. Hearing this, Kaijin punches the living shit out of him. This results in Rimuru and the dwarves getting arrested. During their time in jail, Kaijin reveals that he used to serve the King Gazel Dwargo, and Vesto conspired against him. The trial proceeds with King Gazel exiling Kaijin and his men from the kingdom. With this, they pledge their loyalty to Rimuru and leave alongside him to his kingdom. Episode 6. The dumb adventurers who had accidentally freed Rimuru from the dungeon report Veldora's and are instructed by the guildmaster to investigate the forest. As they are about to leave, a mysterious girl named Shizu offers to join them, and they agree. Rimuru, on the other hand, tests his new skills and realizes just how powerful he has gotten. Kaijin and the others are also working alongside the goblins to rebuild the town. More goblins have also joined them, hearing about Rimiru's heroics, and Rimuru had to name all of them as well. With all of this going, Shizu and the adventurers got into some trouble in the forest and eventually got rescued by Rimuru, who recognizes Shizu as the girl from the vision. She reveals that she also got reincarnated from Japan during the war. Their conversation proceeds as Rimuru shares some memories of modern Japan with her, which makes her glad. One thing Rimuru doesn't know is the fact that Shizu was summoned by a demon lord named Leon Cromwell, who made the vessel of the fire spirit Ifrit. Episode 7. The following night, Shizu reminisces about the time when Ifrit killed her friend right in front of her because he considered a threat and wakes up in anguish. After this, as she is about to leave alongside those dumb adventurers, Ifrit awakens out of nowhere and threatens the entire village. Rimuru attempts to subjugate her using water magic, but fails miserably. Following careful contemplation over the possible methods, Rimuru notices that Erin's ice magic works wonders against Ifrit's minions and copies her. After getting rid of them, Rimuru discovers that he is immune to fire, and with this, he utilizes his predator ability to swallow Ifrit, separating her from Shizu in the process. He is not trapped inside Rimuru alongside Veldora. Episode 8. After all this, Shizu tells Rimuru everything regarding her past and how she went up against someone known as the Hero who defeated her with ease. Even after knowing that she's a Meijin, the hero took her in and showed the right path before she mysteriously disappeared. At this point, Shizu realizes that her life is coming to an end, and she urges Rimuru to consume her. Rimuru respects her decision and utilizes his predator skill to devour her. This allows him to take the form of a human that resembles Shizu when she was younger. After informing the others regarding Shizu's unfortunate departure, Rimuru decides to look up some information regarding the demon lord Leon so he could convey Shizu's final words. In the meantime, a mysterious masked guy had adopted an orc named Geld to bring forth the great orc destruction in the forest. Episode 9. After spending some time in his new body, Rimuru has familiarized himself with the forms and abilities he had acquired from Shizu. Even though he is happy, there's one thing that concerns him. Rimuru is genderless? This means that my man Rimuru cannot enjoy himself. In the meantime, Rigard and the others come across some ogres who claim that Rimuru has been manipulating orcs to attack their village. They proceed for quite some time, but Rimuru was taking it rather easy on them, and just as he revealed his true strength, the ogres gave up. Rimuru convinces them that he is not their enemy and invites them formally to talk things through. Episode 10. The ogres inform them regarding the Ark attack on their village, further revealing that they were led by a masked Meijin. After hearing all this, Rimuru suggests that they form an alliance with them and become his subordinates. After careful consideration, the ogres agree to Rimuru's proposal. Now that they've become his subordinates, Rimuru decides to name all of them as Benimaru, Shion, Shuna, Hakoru, and Kurobi, which results in them evolving into Kaijins. Even though he wasn't expecting himself to become unconscious, naming such superior monsters eventually ends in Rimuru depleting all of his magicules. In the meantime, the lizardmen receive info that almost 200,000 orcs are heading towards them. Hearing all this, the chieftain of the lizardmen postulates that an orc lord must be leading them. He then instructs his son Gabiru to enlist help from the goblins. Episode 11. In the meantime, Benimaru and the other ogres have been working alongside others for the town's prosperity, and all of them have assumed their own roles. For example, Shion is now Rimuru's personal secretary and must even eat her out-of-this-world food as well. With all this going, Gabiru reaches the town, looking forward to getting everyone to serve under him and fight the orcs. However, his fateful battle against Gobta ends up in Gabiru tasting defeat. Rimuru offers to help the lizardmen fight the orcs, but cowering in fear, the lizardmen take to their heels and run away. Later on, Sue informs Rimuru regarding the orc army's advancement, as he also postulates that an orc lord has appeared. In the meantime, a dryad named Triene appears at the spot and urges Rimuru to defeat the Orc Lord. Episode 12. Triene informs them that the Orc Lord has utilized a special skill known as Starve on the orcs, which has resulted in them going berserk, and even devouring their own kind to gain power. Hearing all this, Rimuru accepts her proposal and instructs Sue to form an alliance with the Lizardmen. Kubiru and the others come across Gelmud's messenger Laplace, who manipulates him into betraying his father and lead the attack on the Orc Lord. In the meantime, Sue manages to form an alliance with the Lizardmen, who demand an audience with Rimuru himself. Sue further instructs them that they must not engage in battle until Rimuru appears. Kubiru, on the other hand, had been swayed by Laplace's words and usurps his father's position. He then leads the attack on the orcs unaware of their true strength. That's it, folks. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on part 2. Till then, sayonara.